Hello, my name is Tabitha McEntire, and I am a candidate for a specialist degree in instructional technology from Kennesaw State University. To showcase my learning, I have created a capstone project called Web 2.0 and Professional Development. Please join me as I recap my journey through creating and implementing this digital project, which helped teachers expand their horizons using technology in the classroom. Spring Place Elementary, a Title I school nestled in the foothills of Northwest Georgia, has been my home for the past 5 years. Our public school is home to approximately 630 students of very diverse backgrounds and ethnicities. I taught 6th grade math for 1 year and have since taught 5th grade math. While I have previously taught only math for the duration of my time, I recently accepted the position of instructional coach effective as of fall 2017. During this time, I have also served on the leadership team and on the District Technology Infrastructure Committee. As a result of my role in these leadership positions, I have been asked to host several professional development days that involve technology integration. I wanted to know how our time could be best spent and what the teachers desired to know more about, so I asked them. After culminating the teacher survey results and engaging in several conversations, I found that most teachers were interested in learning more about technology integration, but were only using technology at the most basic levels and mostly for rote memorization practice. I began to ponder ways in which I could inform teachers of the ISTE standards for teachers and students and begin to help them facilitate technology using more meaningful ways for student learning. Based on observation and needs within our school, I implemented professional development modules on integrating Web 2.0 tools into the classroom using the TPAC model and a blended learning environment. While teachers were enthusiastic about technology and wanted to know more, they did not fully understand how to use the new technology devices that we had lately obtained. The problem is that the teachers did not understand what role Web 2.0 tools play in a classroom setting. Web 2.0 is described by ISTE as about revolutionary new ways of creating, collaborating, editing, and sharing user-generated content online. These include presentation, video, mobile, and community tools. According to the teacher surveys, teachers did not use technology with their students because they did not have enough devices, did not have enough time to plan, or did not feel comfortable using technology themselves. Zucker and Light 2009 said, "Simply adding technology to K-12 environments does not improve learning. What matters is how it is used to develop knowledge and skills." There are multiple studies on how teacher expertise and confidence in using these tools affects student performance in the classroom. One such qualitative study by Sadaf, Newby, and Ertmer in 2012 was conducted with 8 pre-service teachers to explore their beliefs about using Web 2.0 in the classroom. The issue spurring this study was that 21st century teachers lacked technical and pedagogical knowledge necessary to use and instruct students to use Web 2.0 tools effectively in the classroom. They wanted to determine how likely it was that these teachers would successfully implement tools such as blogs, wikis, or social networking into their future classrooms. After multiple surveys, interviews, and reflections, it became clear that these teachers had high self-efficacy for using the Web 2.0 tools, but low self-efficacy for integrating them into lessons. It's clear through observation that there is a disconnect between teachers' knowledge of Web 2.0 tools and how to implement tools into the classroom. This is what our teachers need to learn, how to facilitate student learning using technology tools as a means of research, creation, and representation. So how do I fix this problem? I began thinking of possible solutions. I could hold after-school sessions, but teachers stated that time was a problem for them. Most teachers are exhausted at the end of the day and not exactly enthusiastic about staying later than they already do. Then came a solution. I decided to create online learning modules on Web 2.0 tools that can be used in the classroom. This would allow the teacher to move through the modules at their own pace and give them higher degrees of freedom as to which tools they focused on the most. They could also choose which ones to adopt first, second, and so on. However, this project would not only be web-based. I decided to implement the professional development modules in conjunction with 6 face-to-face meetings in the computer lab. The rationale behind the choice to make the Capstone experience a blended learning environment can best be summed up by a statement from Gainther 2016 saying, "Blended learning courses integrate online with face-to-face instruction in a planned, pedagogically valuable manner and do not just combine but trade off face-to-face with online activity." The goal of this project was to not only teach teachers how to use Web 2.0 resources in their classrooms, but to model pedagogy and teaching styles consistent with best practices in classroom technology integration. I would evaluate the impact of this capstone by conducting a pre- and post-survey to determine the level of technology integration, or low-T level, of each teacher and determine if growth was made as a result of completing the capstone tasks. Along the way, the capstone was also evaluated through teacher participation and discussions during the online modules and through formal assessment and observation during the in-person meetings. I began working on the creation of my capstone project during the summer semester of 2016. My first step was to research online learning platforms and decide which one I wanted to use for my online modules. I decided openlearning.com would be the best fit for my project. The website is very user-friendly both in the creation and implementation of the lessons. It is also a free platform, which is appealing. Before creating the online modules, I considered which Web 2.0 tools I wanted to include. I wanted the online workshop and professional development sessions to be both productive and of interest to the teachers, so I included several Web 2.0 tools in the pre-survey administered to the participants. Based on the results of the pre-survey, I decided to go with Google productivity tools, wikis, blogging, presentation software, and student creation tools such as Quiz. The pre-survey indicated that very few teachers utilize these tools in their classrooms. The tools I chose provided the teachers with a wide variety of options including presentation, collaboration, creation, and assessment software for them to learn about and exploit. Next, I developed a timeline and overview of how the online modules and face-to-face sessions would flow and which content needed to be included. Perhaps the most time-consuming part of the capstone project was creating the online modules. I first created the basic format for the order and content I wanted to include in each module. Within each module, I created an Explore and a Create section. In the Explore portion of the module, the teacher viewed screencasts I made or watched engaging videos that displayed how the Web 2.0 tools can be integrated into the classroom or the basic layout of the tool itself. I designed the modules to be easily navigable and user-friendly as to not overwhelm the teachers with complicated technology. It was during the creation of the modules that I really felt confident in my decision to use the Open Learning platform. In the Create section, the teachers were involved in collaborative efforts, discussions, or prompted to use the Web 2.0 tool design, original activities to be used in their classrooms. Once I had the meat of the project completed in creating the online modules, I developed 6 in-person sessions that would supplement the modules. The capstone experience began with an in-person meeting in which I provided reasoning behind the professional development sessions, presented the pre-survey data, introduced the TPAC model, and handed out all pertinent information about logins and scheduling. Including this initial session, the teacher participants were involved in 6 face-to-face meetings in the computer lab and completed 5 online modules between October of 2016 and January of 2017. The modules included introductions to and activities involving Google Docs and productivity tools, wikis, blogging and social media, presentation software, and student organization tools. After working for 2 weeks to complete each module, a face-to-face session was held in the computer lab to debrief the previous module and expound on them. For example, after completion of the module involving social media, the in-person session involved a discussion on the possibilities for classroom implementation, and then the teachers setting up their own Twitter accounts. Interspersed throughout the experience, I scheduled times to meet with the teachers to aid them in working the technology tools into their lesson plans. I wanted to follow up on the sessions and ensure that the teachers were not having issues transferring what they had learned to classroom implementation. The second and third in-person meetings were used to discuss the modules, but also to further explore technology tools such as Symbaloo and Twitter. This part of the professional development sessions was especially productive. It was clear that the participants were engaged in learning during these sessions. Clear, productive, critical thinking discussions and meaningful, applicable engagement of the new material using technology was what I wanted the teachers to adopt as part of their own classroom practices. The Capstone experience was set up so that I scaffolded a great deal during the first 3 modules and then lent myself more as a facilitator of technology use during the last 2 face-to-face sessions. The third and fourth whole group sessions were used for discussion and then presentation of teacher-made items to share so that the others may adopt them for their own classroom use. This method resulted in positive feedback from teachers. The final session of the Capstone experience involved the teachers sharing what they created during Module 5, Student Creation Organization Tools. The participants had a choice to create a Quiz or Poplet to use in their classrooms. Data was collected from multiple points throughout the Capstone experience. Perhaps some of the most meaningful data was collected during the one-on-one sessions when I assisted the teachers in integrating Web 2.0 tools into their classroom activities and lesson plans. This form of evaluation was an obstacle to the Capstone experience at first. I experienced hesitancy from multiple participants to share lesson plans and become vulnerable when discussing instructional strategies. After a relationship was built between myself and the teacher, the lesson plan evaluation system became more of a partnership in the teacher's eye instead of a formal evaluation system. A post-workshop survey was administered to the 18 participants after completing the Capstone experience. The survey had a 100% participation rate. The results of the survey showed that 89% of the participants used Web 2.0 tools in their classrooms at least 2 or 3 times per week, as compared to the 33% before the completion of the Capstone experience. The teachers also expressed higher levels of self-efficacy in using Web 2.0 tools, with an average of 4 on a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being a beginner and 5 an expert. The Capstone experience allowed me to understand the importance of building relationships firsthand. The interactions between the teacher and the facilitator, me, clearly showed that trust was a crucial factor for influencing teacher buy-in and effort towards participating in the professional development sessions. The importance of leading by example became evident during the creation and implementation of the online modules involved in the blending learning environment. I had to learn to place myself in the role of the teacher to find navigation errors and to try to foresee possible misunderstandings or errors that could occur during implementation of the online modules. I also had to employ the mindset of a teacher that does not have a technology degree to ensure that the modules would be effective but not overwhelming for the participants involved. To be a leader of anything, one must be formidable in level of content knowledge. For a person to be a technology leader, he or she must be proficient in using the technology tools and resources his or herself and how they align to both the content and technology standards by utilizing knowledge of instructional design. This Capstone experience required knowledge of how to construct and execute a blended learning environment, including face-to-face and online components, organized in a manner that built on prior knowledge and actively engaged the participants in the learning process. The online modules and in-person sessions had to be constructed in a way that guided the teachers towards becoming more independent with using Web 2.0 tools in their own classrooms. There had to be a gradual release built into the design of the professional development sessions. During this time, I also had to manage the change process from the beginning to the end of the 11-week program. This was accomplished by creating authentic learning experiences for the teachers and following up with them throughout the progression. Improvement of the Capstone experience came through the use of my evaluative skills. I had to appraise the success of the program through formative assessment and data gathering from the surveys, then adapt the program to meet the needs of the participants. If this capstone experience were to be mimicked by other coordinators, I would suggest a more focused topic for the online modules. The multiple topics covered within the modules was overwhelming to some of the teachers. They preferred to focus on one type of Web 2.0 tool at a time instead of receiving a large volume of possibilities at once. The ideal time to complete this type of technology workshop would be at the beginning of the school year, so that teachers have the opportunity to engage in the online components without the worry of reviewing for the state tests in the spring. Since this type of experience requires changes in instructional practices, it's necessary for the technology coach to follow up with the teachers by visiting classrooms and aiding in the construction of lesson plans. The data collected throughout this capstone experience indicated that the blended learning approach to professional development was successful in introducing and incorporating the authentic use of Web 2.0 tools in the classroom. The participants reported prominent levels of engagement and evolving instructional practices regarding best practice in facilitating the use of technology tools for students, which was the aim of this capstone experience. My hope is that this experience will illuminate Web 2.0 possibilities for teachers and open minds to new possibilities in the future of professional development.